If there is no questions, we will continue further. Our next speaker is Nina Mrzelj. She is a senior data scientist at the Scalable Business Solutions, a digital innovation studio from Austria. She holds a master's degree in computer science and mathematics and has years of experience in implementing data science projects across industries and sectors. In this talk, Nina will discuss challenges teams face when working together and how they could overcome them if they understood what each side needs to be successful. Nina, you can come on stage.
Okay, thanks. So 7 years ago, I was working in a small startup. I was fresh out of college, and I was really excited how I will change the world through data. I was freshly equipped with all the algorithms knowledge. I knew different machine learning models and the math behind them. And I was really motivated to use all this knowledge in practice. The reality did not match my expectations at all. There were so many moments when I was thinking to myself, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I even here? Does this company really need a data science team? Eventually, I quit. But these moments and these feelings appeared again in a new job. And I have to admit that there were many moments when I was seriously considering a career shift. But I stuck around, and I'm currently working as a senior data scientist at Scalable Business Solutions, where I'm working on custom client projects. And through years, I learned that it was not the data science work itself that was causing me all these frustrations. It was the approach to data science project. And some of the learnings I would like to share with you today. 87% of data science projects fail. You have heard this before. The numbers are a bit different sometimes, but the fact is that data science projects are risky, and you have quite a high chance of failing at them. And here we have you, CEOs, decision makers, leaders, and you have to decide, do I want to invest in data science? Is AI really a solution for my problem? On one side, you have all this hype around AI. You're hearing statements such as AI is transforming the industry. Data is the new oil. Everyone has AI. Your competition have it. And you think to yourself, oh my God, I need to have it too, and I need it now. But there are also these really dark statistics and high numbers of how your project is really almost destined to fail. So what should you do? If you go into this and your project fails, of course, there are some consequences. You have invested a certain amount of time and money into this, and you can't get them back. When we have failures, we have unhappy people, and the vibe is really bad. This can be in your team, in the organization itself. Maybe your stakeholders are dissatisfied. All in all, the vibe is not great. Also, it can cause bad reputation, maybe for you, for your organization, and competitors can get advantage through this. All in all, the trust is lost. The trust in you, maybe in your team, maybe in this external service provider that you worked with, or the technology itself. And let's face it, there are different challenges that we have in data science projects. We've heard a lot about this through the conference. This is some old statistics from 2017, so it's not completely up to date, but the gist is the same. On one side, we have all these technology problems. We have, how do we get the data? The data is dirty. Where do we store it? Where do we deploy our models? How is all the technical architecture around our solution? And so on. But on other side, we also have different kind of problems. And these are the stuff like, do we have enough of the talent to solve these problems? Can we talk? Can the teams talk to each other? Are we solving the real business problem? And what is the impact of the solution that we are building? And we've heard a lot about how to solve different technical problems, and I would like to focus on this second part today in my talk. Data science is everywhere. It's present in different industries, and setups are different. Maybe you are an organization that has its own data science team, and data science team is working with some other department that would like to use AI to solve problems. Or you're maybe a company that has really nothing to do with IT, but you still would like to use AI for solving some problems, and you work with an external partner. In both cases, we can somehow get a typical project setup out of it. On one side, we have a data science team. Well, this is not exactly a team of data scientists. For the sake of this argument, this is a technical team. It consists of data scientists, data engineers, machine learning engineers. You can have software developers, testers, maybe UX designers, and so on. The idea here is this team has a technical background and all technical skills that are needed for implementation of the solution. On the other side, you have business stakeholders. These can be like a CEO, innovation manager, but it's not only one person, it's also a team. And this team are people who know about the business, they have the domain knowledge, they know the users, maybe they are users themselves, and they should, at the end, have some benefit from the solution that is being implemented. The problem is that there is a huge gap between these two groups of people. And this gap can cause dissatisfaction, failed projects, and frustration. Frustration on both sides. Maybe there is another person who can fill this gap. Normally, this is some kind of project manager or someone with similar title. It doesn't really matter. There is a person who is there to connect the two sides. They do a lot of communication, they organize the meetings, maybe they collect business requirements and somehow translate them to technical requirements. All in all, they are there to connect the two sides. And it might be that this setup works very well for you and you are on the way to have a successfully finished project. But what if this person gets hit by a truck? Or if they get sick, or go on holidays, or maybe they quit. Or, which is not so uncommon case, maybe they're just not doing their work very well. Well, good news, there are still some chances for you and some options how you can increase your chances for successfully delivering this data science project. What we have to keep in mind is that we are both in this together. We're all in this together. Like, none of the people, none of the teams go in this project with an intention of failure. Whether this is some internal collaboration or like collaborating with external partner, no one wants their project to fail. And maybe they don't care about you, but they care about themselves, and a failure reflects bad on them. So everyone wants the project to succeed. So we all have the same goal, and we are working toward the same goal. So it is important here to somehow set aside this company politics and competition and this us versus them mindset, because at the end, you want all to succeed and have the same goal in mind. But even if we have this clear and we all want to succeed, this is still really hard. And the reason why it's hard is that essentially these two groups of people, they are speaking different language. On one side, we have this technical team, people with engineering background, they know math and physics and I don't know, like all these technical details and complexity. And on the other side, we have people who know the business, and they have a completely different focus and different ideas of what success looks like. And these two groups of people somehow need to come together. And we need to find some language or some way how they can talk to each other and bring across their ideas for a successful project. Now, if you're on the business side, you are really you're following all this technology, and you hear all this buzz about AI, and you really want to bring your ideas. But the thing is that you're not really in the project to provide technical input. You are the one who knows your business well. You are the one who really is able to clarify what is the problem that needs to be addressed. Maybe you're the user, or you have the access to users. And this is really the biggest value that you're bringing to the project, this domain knowledge. And this is something that you should be able to communicate to the other side. Not specific requirements on what models to use, but what are the problems that needs to be solved. You also have to know what is your idea of a success. When you went to this project, you somehow anticipated what can be a possible output, and you know how would success look for you. You know what impact of this solution do you want, and the success is not the accuracy of the model, but it is a business impact that your project should somehow deliver. You probably know what kind of data is available, or you know how to point people in the right direction. And you probably also have some expectations on timeline and roadmap. That is not such a problem when you are working with external partners, because with budget, normally the timeline is also somehow implied. But if you have an internal data science team, it is really not uncommon that they're just working on something without any deadlines, without any roadmap, and you're just optimistically hoping that at the end you will have something there delivered. And last but not least, what is also important to communicate from business side is this continuous feedback and input about how is this solution is progressing, and how can you see the impact on your business. And you can't expect that you give this data science project to the technical team and check back in half a year and see, wow, now everything is as I wanted it. No, you have to provide this continuous feedback and input, because only then that's the way how the things can improve and get better. If you're on the other side, I really can feel you. You got this data and you worked on it really hard. It was dirty, you had to clean it up, you were working on it for months to finally prepare it so that you can put it in these models. Then you had to figure out what model to take. You figured out which are the good parameters. And now you really want to show to people how complex your work is, because it is. But that should not be your goal. You should not try to communicate the complexity of your work, but you should provide the clarity for the business side. And it's hard because you've invested a lot of effort and a lot of time into this, and now they don't really care. And what you need to do is to simplify and visualize stuff so that the business stakeholders can understand them. You have to go a bit away from the technical side and figure out how does what you're doing is fitting into a business context now, and what kind of impact does it have for the end user. Maybe you had some problems on the way. of course, you had technical problems, but for sure there are also some blockers and obstacles that actually the business side can solve for you. Maybe they need to give you the access to more data, or you can talk with them how you can collect more input that you need for your project. And these are the stuff that you should be able to clearly communicate. So what's holding you back, and how can they help you resolve this? And even though it's not so easy, you should also be able to estimate the progress and somehow be able to tell where do you stand and how are we progressing. Data science projects are a bit different than software projects. There is no clear way ahead. You don't know what will you encounter. And with that come different challenges that affect the way of working. It's not easy to measure progress. Sometimes you have to work on your models for a long time before you can even show something. And you have this vague definition. You don't know when things are actually done because, maybe you have a model with certain accuracy, but is this good enough or not? You really have to somehow collect feedback, but maybe you have to wait a lot of time until you get this. You have these diverse teams from different backgrounds that somehow have to work together and agree on terminologies and how to work. And in all this chaotic, challenging setup, we need to find a way to work. And it somehow has to be structured, because else we have this chaos that is a recipe for a disaster. And maybe since these projects are different, like you can't directly use Scrum or some other agile framework, but they are meant to be worked in an agile way. This means that you should have some cycles where you plan, where you implement stuff, and you collect feedback. I think this is one of the most important stuff when you are working on such projects, that you can deliver small stuff and collect feedback continuously. We have to have some way of clear expectation management. And this also comes with these regular reviews and retrospectives where you are reflecting on things that you've done and collecting feedback from others. Even if the framework that you choose is not Scrum or something that is already established, you should have some way of focus meetings. And it happens so often that at the end of the meeting, no one really knows why did we even have it, but that should not be the case. When you go into a meeting, you should know what are your expectations, what questions do you have, and what questions do you need to have answered at the end. And last but not least, it happens often that you have these really various requests from all sides that you somehow have to manage, and you can't, because you still have limited time, limited budget, and the thing is that not everything is equally important. And as soon as you have this clear goal in mind, this clear problem that you are solving, also prioritization of tasks can be done easily. So in order to deliver these data science projects successfully, you need a certain set of hard skills. These are machine learning, software development, domain expertise, business understanding, and project management skills that somehow round this up. But you have people working there, which means you also need some soft skills there. These people need to talk to each other, they need to collaborate, you need some abilities to critical think, you have to be creative, you need leadership skills. And only when you have these two sets of skills available, only then you can have a successful project at the end. And my advice is that when you're thinking about training your team or yourself, or when you're thinking about what to invest in your time and your efforts, don't focus only on the hard skills. yes, they are important, but they are not everything. Because at the end, like, you can't achieve success alone. You need a team of people so that works together. At the end, we all have the same goal. Either you're a data scientist or someone from the business side. We want to transform data into business value. And here it's really important that we work together, and that when we are talking to each other, that you are not only thinking about the knowledge that you have and that you want to give away, because communication is mostly about on one side what you say, but it's also a lot about what the other person hears. And I think that in general we are very egoistic in a way. How do we talk and communicate? We are really thinking about, yeah, what do I want to say? But it's a lot about what the other person will hear. So next time when you have a communication situation, try to think about what are the things that I know and the other side needs, and the vice versa. What do they have and I need, and try to get that from them. So I would like to conclude with the thought: technology matters, but people matter more. Whether it's internal or external collaboration, try to make sure that you can talk to people on the eye level, because only when you're able to talk openly to each other and express your concerns and obstacles and uncertainties, only then you're able to resolve them. And I strongly believe that empathy and collaborative mindset can be a game changer when implementing data science projects. Thank you.